not mistaken.
So let's have a look at it again. Yes, they have only played on blue side.
Yeah, they're the only team that this is true for.
And they've lost one game, but otherwise we have no idea how they're going to do on red.
I think that like Gen.G will not pick red side, so they can continue to do this. So the only way they could take it away from them is if they did that. Gen.G, by the way, do pick second pick.
Right.
So it's just normal drafting.
I guess so. It's just as if DK had first pick last year. But it's not kind of the way as the Jace Rumble. We've got Junior taken away here as well as the Malphite and Azir. Orianna still something that's probably looking at a bannable status, but the Yunara are going to be taken away instead. And one final ban here from Gen.G. Could be something like a Nico, but we'll just have to see. And Bessa, still a big one as well.
Orianna, pretty good pick.
By the way,
here,
DK just banned Mao. Chronicler has officially been banned.
I think they banned May.
What?
The Yunara starts with a Y.
Oh, dang it.
I mean, the sound is a U.
Yeah. Always trying
to bring Chronicler back.
I just wanted them to ban Mao. And it's a Yunara. Maybe you could just change the spelling, you know? You're American. You guys do that all the time.
Atlas, it's the
You took
rise.
the U out of color? Can't you take the Y out of Yunara?
We did. We certainly changed the order of a few of those ER and RE words as well. It is looking like it's going to be Rise Talia. But maybe it's Rise Talia Vi, which feels better. Nope. Canyon says he's playing Xin Zhao.
Well, it's not exactly awe-inspiring. However, it'll get the job done. As Ruler has been a pretty dangerous Varus player over his career. As Lucid thinking about a Jarvan. Jarvan Rise feeling like the DK flavor that we've gotten used to.
Now, the sacrifice that Dplus will have to make here, I mean, they have to make a choice between splitting their bottom duo or going for a blind top laner. See what they decide to do. As playing into Varus can be really annoying when you split your bottom duo, and it means the enemy team can really mess it up with the second ban phase.
What about Ambessa?
Ambessa feels quite strong here, but we don't have the Lulu to empower it just yet, and there are a lot of matchups Keen, I think, would feel comfortable playing into it. They're going to split the bottom duo, though, and play the Ezreal in... Oh.
Corki instead. That's going to be the answer to the Varus.
Corki does feel like the pick right now that pairs with so many supports incredibly well in matchups like this. You know, Corki Nami, Corki Bard.
Has been doing a lot of winning.
Nico.
Oh, God. He's thinking about doing it again.
He will actualize this pick.
Imagine if they had a pick Nautilus instead of Corki. It would have been so sad, but there is the Anivia one more time. And last time Chovy played this, the game looked unplayable for his opposition. We'll see whether he does that again here. That's all right. Into the ban phase now. Probably some supports that are going to hit the deck, as there are still a lot of dangerous ones.
I think is the one you are most afraid of.
Yep.
I don't think Alistair really empowers this composition that well on the Dplus side. You also don't have your own support, so you could just try to, you know, basically kind of cut the supports in half, or leave the supports here and say, like, well, you can have one, but we'll leave everything open so we can have a good answer. They take the Nautilus, so they're not banning a range support at all. And, I mean, with Varus into the Jarvan, just having that extra point and click to kill the AD carry, or even the Anivia, is a wise choice, a wise ban.
Yeah. And I think the Nautilus ban is actually kind of interesting, given the fact that Nautilus just hates being into Anivia in any way, but wanting to avoid that trouble in the laning phase, as the Renekton going to be taken away here as well, focusing more towards the top side are DK. As you say, I mean, they have the first choice as far as supports are concerned, so probably not wanting to limit the pool too much.
Yeah. See what the ban is going to be here, because the Renekton ban doesn't tell you too much. That's what I expected to see. The Nico, which is the scariest of the champs to face with Corki, does go away. Renekton is banned. Says they probably want to play something that's a little bit less aggressive in lane and wants to just be a front line. Poppy is taken away now as well, which
kind of an interesting one.
I think Poppy is not very good at the moment.
but does certainly do a number to Jarvan. Jarvan doesn't really like the Poppy very much.
That's true. And the ultimate can just warp team fights, especially when you have already a lot of zoning control here. So now we're going to find out what that support pick is going to be. You have to imagine, I don't know if they necessarily want to blind here. They'll get the Bard. They ban the Nico. They leave the Bard. They have pick priority. They get the Bard. And so in response here now, you know, their options are Nami or play some engage with this Jarvan. Like, they could play Leona. It will not be a fun lane. This was, I think, not really on the cards for me because I thought they needed a little bit more oomph in the lane, oomph out of the lane was something that can impact team fights more. But if they go for the Ambessa, that kind of solves that problem. Works well with the Jarvan. They have Realm Warp, and the Karma wins lane. I can kind of get behind it.
Yeah, I don't mind it. I actually like the idea of like going for a little bit of lane control towards this bottom side. With the Corki, you already have a lot of power. And LeBlanc support would certainly be one of those options.
It is kind of a thing. We saw it hovered in the last series.
Yep. It was something that Showmaker, in fact, played in the season opening, if we remember.
I don't like it that much in this comp, though, because it is so risky.
It's an army.
Okay.
This is something that has been rising in popularity, but wasn't normally what we'd see picked last year. Tidal Wave can certainly help out, though, as Keen is thinking about playing something weird, but double circles is probably the most scary, and that is going to be coming through here.
We talked about the blind Ambessa earlier. My first thought was going to be Keen just playing Gwen into it. He opts into this choice almost every time he's given the opportunity to. He really likes this matchup, and it is a strong one for the Gwen. A lot of magic damage here on the side of Gen.G, but not a lot of options to itemize against it for Dplus, so it doesn't really matter, I think, in this scenario. Really strong side lane pressure here for Gen.G. Insane wave clear, and also range. On the side of Dplus Kia, you really just have to get into the back line and kill Ruler. That is the game plan. The Corki feels really good in comps like this because he can Valkyrie in to follow up. It is insanely powerful. It's kind of like budget Kai'Sa to a certain extent with this type of draft. Has a really strong 2-item spike. The Nami can both help pile on to the engage. Works well with Cataclysm, but also could be used as a peel tool to keep Keen at bay, for example. So I think both drafts are really good here. I'm very scared of Chovy's farming late game Anivia. There's a bit of a big bird.
The Baron with Duro horses ahead.
That's
so
too
good.
Cursed.
That is phenomenal.
That was not appropriate for broadcast.
We're going to need a zoom in on that next time we're loading into the Rift for game number 2. But we still have game number 1 to go as Gen.G with Chovy's Anivia. Let's see whether it works out once again as we get under the Rift. All right, here we are, ladies and gentlemen, onto the Rift, and already into a little bit of fighting here towards the bottom side of the map. As Korea with the ebb and flow is not necessarily going to be winning out, but Smash is at least able to do a bit of damage back to Duro to try and even things out here. Potion going to be drank here by Korea, and Duro holding on to his. As Cosmic Binding just thrown at Smash, and Smash not even dodging it a little bit.
Yeah, he's just like, all right, well, you're going to take another auto, and we'll call it a day.
Yeah.
Barrier versus teleport, which tells you what Ruler thinks about this lane.
Yeah.
That's like, when you see the teleport on the Varus or on the Ziggs, you're like, well, I don't know what he thinks is going to happen.
He is pretty keen to try and be non-interactive.
Yep. And so far, that's how it's going.
Yeah. Smash and Korea with a fair bit of control of the wave. But that is kind of what they picked for, right? That's it's what this one, as we like to say, says on the tin.
Yes. Doesn't have to necessarily be made of tin. Could also be a package of plastic or even paper.
Yeah, I imagine a lot of tins are probably made of steel now. You know?
Well, I mean, that could be a bit wasteful.
Wait, or is that do you have to call that a can? Have I been calling tins the wrong thing this whole time?
I think a can be a tin at any point, and a tin...
But wait, a tin can is a thing.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah,
like
you're right.
At any point, yeah, it could be a tin can, yes.
So
not all cans are tin, but are all tins cans?
Yes.
I think so. I think we can.
I'm very
reasonably
confused
say.
now. I would prefer it if we just spoke about something else. Talk about the game casters. That's
Are
what I'm going to go for
like
here.
the rhombus of containers?
Please don't say rhombus. I don't like rhombuses. I'm already like a little bit confused because I decided that Yunara's name started with a U because I was so excited about Mao being banned. Still there. That's the position I'm still at. As Chovy looking a little worse for wear, but Showmaker actually ghosting back to lane after putting his tier together. It's a bit of a cute one, making sure that he can start that stacking as quickly as he possibly can. And Lucid now moving over towards this bottom crab. Top one will be going over to Canyon most likely. As we can see, he is just rotating up there as the smite does come on through and Lucid goes back home.
At this level of play, we don't have any 3 to 5 minute scuttle shenanigans.
Not this time.
No level 3 ganks.
Ooh, Showmaker wanting to deny his former jungler a crab.
You know
Will
what?
succeed.
I mean, the rotation over from Lucid is coming. We're going to have a bit of a 2v2 here.
Wow, that Gatling gun sound was really cool. If only that
I liked it when
continued.
it turned off. When it was finished. It's okay when it makes the sound while it's shooting. We had a really good discussion with the one of our observers, Kisun, about that during the break.
Former Pog Lab extraordinaire.
Yes. Well, who's to say he's former? He could just be inactive.
That's true. Inactive Pog Lab extraordinaire as Dura has to use his heal to avoid dying. Cosmic Binding does go wide as Ruler tries to offer some damage back, but Smash and Korea feeling pretty happy about how this one's going so far, and Dura may actually have to leave again. A little bit unfortunate here.
Oh, double scuttle. Quick little start here for Dplus in terms of getting the jungle farming underway. You can see he's half a level up on Canyon.
Yeah, Lucid actually having a very good time at the moment on the Jarvan.
Teleport from Shiu to come back in to match Keen. Close game. Ruler stops his back. We'll look for an extra wave. And he has TP, so he can opt for things like this.
Yep.
Oh, slow TP. Chovy hates slow TP.
The turtle port. Oh, it's the worst.
People were like, you can play Ghost. He's like, I would never. Not a chance I lose any farm.
But maybe if he was reminded that turtle port's really slow, then he'd prefer to Ghost. But maybe not as a Nivea, whose movement speed is not often a selling point.
No, despite having wings and flapping in the running animation.
Yeah.
It's not really catching the air. I suppose because they're kind of fragmented, they just don't have a lot of lift to them.
Yeah, it just doesn't quite work.
Quite heavy, perhaps.
Maybe because she's made out of ice.
Well, this skin looks like it would have a little bit of extra movement.
That's true. Maybe you should get extra movement speed. I remember that skin used to be banned because it gave you an unfair advantage, considering for some reason. But it has been fixed since. I don't know whether it's like it was an unfair advantage or whether it was just like the auto animation was just that little bit too clean. Like it was barely an advantage, but it was.
Could be.
I remember that skin was illegal though for a while. As Lucid goes in, gets a knock up onto Canyon here, audaciously charges and avoids the Aqua Prison. Now it's a Cosmic Binding for Lucid. The Korea should be able to keep him safe. Gets over towards that control vision as Ruler is being held in place. Smash, massive combo does come on through there as we've got Showmaker and Chovy fighting towards the top side, wanting to come down and join this 3v3. Not to be the case as Showmaker does have his ultimate available, but of course can be stunned out of it by a Flash Frost.
Very, very slow pace in this game. Both junglers just kind of babysitting. When I heard about the changes to bottom lane, I thought this is how every game was going to look. The junglers were like, well, I'm going to watch you. It's like the Spider-Man meme across the river.
Yeah.
You're here to babysit your bottom lane. Well, let me tell you what I'm here to do. The same thing.
Yeah, they've just both got 2 kids, and they're both just at the playground, and it's just...
They're at the kids' cafe, yeah.
They're just playing on the other side of the rooms from each other, and no need to intervene.
Every time the supports get a little bit feisty, they go push them apart from each other.
Yeah. It's like, all right, don't be silly. Don't embarrass your parents. You know, there's a lot of onlookers. You can't be...
Please stop getting Smash's barrier. He doesn't like to use it like that.
Well, he hasn't, so he's probably okay for now. Oh, public execution towards his top side as she is looking for the solo kill. Keen, couple more autos, but Keen turns and never mind. behind. Showmaker comes in and saves the young man in the top lane.
And that really looked like it was not going to be close until Keen stacked it up.
Yeah, and then it was looking like Keen was just going to win.
If Keen actually just killed him and Showmaker wasn't there, like if Showmaker was like, oh, I guess you got this and started walking back down.
Oh my
that would
God,
have been
yeah.
so sad. As we'll watch it again. It's really just about the ult here from Shu, getting a lot of value. Not to mention that needlework missing. Second one also. Third one hits.
Oh.
That stacked Q is kind of insane.
Yeah, just ludicrous amounts of damage, as well as the Conqueror really putting in a little bit of work towards the end there, which allowed Keen to survive that one extra hit. Man.
Showmaker had a small CS advantage before that happened, so even though Chovy got the plate and pushed in, he is only like a wave ahead, and Showmaker obviously has the gold lead because he was able to pick up that first blood, so...
Korea is getting exhausted, as Duro just wanted to press a button.
I hope he feels better.
Spellbook.
Take a rest, man. Just walk back to lane.
Yeah, well.
Walk it off.
He's certainly a bit sleepy now. It's, oh no,
Ooh.
oh no!
You can tell Chovy is upset.
Did you also see how sheepish the zoom in was? Like, even the observers are like, that's Chovy's CS, man. Should we even do it?
Yeah, might have like wanted to do an alternate pan there.
I'm proud of Jonas Strong that he did commit to it, because of course he is the man who does zoom in on cannons being missed.
You know,
Unless it was Kisan that did it, but I don't think so. I think Kisan's on replays today.
The way the Anivia flies, kind of bizarre, you know? She's so close to the ground, you would think she'd want to rest.
Yeah.
On the ground.
And often you don't get much of an updraft when you're that close to the ground.
Exactly.
Well. It seems a little bit weird that you can sort of glide.
Is going to start this. Chovy is in the area. They're looking for a play topside. They cancel it, though.
Yeah, Keen actually has the needlework back up, and Shiu doesn't have his ultimate, and so he's just dead. Solo Bolo over to Keen. Very nicely played. And now Gen.G, Chains of Corruption do go wide, but they still manage to take down that dragon. Duro now magically journeys his way out, but Lucid not going to get stunned up here, as there is the boat flying out. The tidal wave not really going to connect, as now Showmaker in a very unfortunate position, does have to flash to get out of the way of Canyon, as now Lucid, he's looking to exit. DK looking a little bit uncoordinated, but not punished too much for it, but this is the problem. The fact that Keen just gets a solo kill on the Gwen, he is going to become completely out of control.
Yeah, and they're not even done here on this bottom side. They want to push further advantages here. The big issue is that there's two ultimates missing for Dplus in this exchange. One is Shu's, and Showmaker knows the cooldown. He knows he needs to probably help him out there. It's faster cooldown for Gwen's ult. Ends up going up to the top side, but doesn't have his ult, so can't actually realm warp to save him. And then the dragon is being lost on the bottom side. Showmaker shows up there. He's like, well, I got to try to impact this play on the bottom side, and then is just promptly engaged on and has to flash and ghost, and then does nothing, sadly for him. So it's a big loss here. As look where Showmaker is on the minimap. He is like, I can't get there, sorry. They need me on the dragon. But he doesn't have realm warp, so he's trying to get to the dragon fight.
Oh, man.
And he unfortunately is unable to save the dragon fight.
And Keen there just pressed buttons really good, and Shu just died. Just nothing really more to it. Shu does manage to get his Eclipse together, so that's certainly good news. But a 400 gold advantage for the Gwen is going to be a difficult thing to mitigate, outside of the fact that there is an item completion here for Shu as he makes his way back up. So Keen probably wanting to go for a bit of a reset before he does go for any more of these jewels. But in 6 seconds' time, he will have more needlework available. But you can see, certainly respecting Shu now that that item has been purchased.
Gotta say, the goddess would cry if she saw this composition. 4 tiers, man.
My goodness.
There could even be up to 8.
Yeah, what about Fimbulwinter Ambessa?
Oh, I mean, I suppose it's even possible to get more.
There you go. All right.
Chovy is just, he's having an Anivia time now. Got through some of the more awkward parts of this lane, got a tempo advantage around that dragon, and he's like, all right, well, I'm just going to clear waves and not interact with you.
Look at the bot lane and mid lane. Like, everyone is on basically the same CS. It's kind of ridiculous.
Yeah, it's crazy. That's the tier effect.
Yeah, there we go. Well, Smash with a Tidecaller's Blessing is going to take that and use it to destroy this minion wave. Needs to get all of them if he wants to stay in touching distance with all of these other farmers on the map.
The top lane doesn't look too impacted by that play there from Keen in terms of the control over the wave. As we're having a bit of a scuffle
When becomes lightning goes wide, so does the Cosmic Binding. So DK, a little bit of a cooldown advantage for a moment, but I think that is going to not last too long as in goes Lucid, in goes Canyon, Cataclysm, and Flash out from Lucid. And Smash takes so much damage there. Chains of Corruption held onto here by Ruler as well. So Gen.G looking dangerous right now. Keen throwing out the needlework once again. Misses a bunch of those buttons as now Shiu looking to try and turn it. There's the public execution. He's got one last one. Let's see whether Shiu can actually fight this. The answer is no, as he is going to back away, respecting Keen, even if he hasn't actually completed his Riftmaker just yet.
He has the item advantage, but there's just no way. He doesn't have enough damage to kill Keen there. And learned a lot, I think, about that last Q in the first kill that he helped Showmaker get.
Yep, would agree.
And decides, okay, you know what? That's the best I can get. We're trading ultimates here. Does have to opt to use his ultimate to make sure that Keen does not get a superior trade, so I think it was the right choice. But kill pressure, but off the cards. Could try to get this Crystalline Overgrowth, but it's too risky. In fact, not going to get it, and also possibly going to be too risky.
It's Ambessa though.
He has
just dash and then do more dashes as there it is. There's a knock-up on a Canyon as well, who's delivered backwards. Duro throwing down the Tempered Fate, locks up a couple. Shiu not quite able to answer too much. Is out, he will go. Showmaker makes his way in though as now Canyon gets his Triumph proc and actually keeps himself alive. The flash forward from Shiu, but there's the Cosmic Binding to hold him in place. Big ol' shield thanks to that Eclipse as now Showmaker realizing with Chovy making his way in, he is probably dead and tells his young top laner just to save himself.
It's a really rough exchange there from Dplus. It looked so good at the outset, but because Duro is up there, Ruler is left alone down here on the bottom side of the map. So it's not a freebie here for Gen.G by any means. They had to use a lot to get this win on the top side. And so at least on the other side, Smash is a big benefactor. As Shiu is buying a ton of time, look at the run up here from Lucid. His buddy is going to show up just in time. This Tempered Fate, it's hard to say, really quantify the value of it because obviously Lucid is in stasis at that moment in time. It really helped them kill him faster, but it buys enough time for Showmaker to come up. The problem is it takes so long, especially with that extra sidestep there by Canyon, that Chovy then gets involved. They wanted to clean it up faster before Chovy got here. Keen survives. And again, they get plates on the bottom side, and some farm is denied from Ruler. But at the end of the day, a big win, I think, for Gen.G, who also have control of this dragon for the moment.
Yeah, Lucid is going to walk up, though. Let's see who's going to be able to win the Smite fight. It is just going to go over to Lucid there. Locks up the Cloud Drake as into the bubble goes the Xin Zhao. As Wall is put down, Lucid in a lot of trouble. He's just dead. Does survive for quite some time and actually gets a lot of his health bar back, but still not going to be enough to save him.
This is a huge win, though, for Dplus. Like, the pendulum swings back because they get this plate up here, maybe even a second one. They got the dragon to even things up.
And it was a 1-for-1.
And it's just an even trade. They also got the teleport out of Keen. Like, Keen teleporting there is why this set of plates is going over. Shiu gets to keep his, and this means Chovy has to go clean it up there on the top side. So a lot of tempo gained back here for Dplus. Gold lead still Gen.G's, albeit slight, as the smite timing here is, okay, hold up.
Yep, meanwhile in live, we have a very dead Chovy, or at least a very egg Chovy, until he's a dead Chovy. It's going to take a little bit of time, but there it goes, and that is a kill over to Shiu. The Ambessa being able to pull back that gold advantage that Keen had over him as well. We're spawning some voidlings and taking down some plates.
The Shiu Ambessa timeline, was kind of the same thing, and it was his best pick early on in his career, and it's looking really good in this game, despite the fact that he miscalculated that one time. Ends up getting some resources here, and they're playing through him. As speaking of Shiu,
yeah, he might be in a little bit of trouble here, I might add, as Canyon does go in. He just wants to get out of the way. Yeah, dashing is something that this Ambessa can do. Tempered Fate will be able to hold him in position, and the attempted juke is actually going to work to his detriment, as gets a bunch of shields, but still snip, snip, and down he will go. Turret falls on the top side of the map, though. That is going to be first turret blood over to DK.
Yeah, I kind of feel like this doesn't really bother Dplus all that much. Showmaker is also going to try to get this first initial plate here on the inner. It is a Gwen that does have a strong split push here on the other side, so it's not just going to be that first hit that is the big one. I did not know that's how this started. That is very sad for Chovy. He just wanted to know what was going on. He knows, though, now, so I guess mission accomplished.
Just wanted to try and stop the back, but unfortunately had to get in range of that public execution. Really nicely played there by Shiu. Thought they'd caught him shopping, but he had not. Showmaker now picking up the wave towards bottom side. He's 1,000 gold in the lead, actually, on this Rise. So the race towards the Seraph Rod of Ages is being won by the Rise for now.
Yeah. The gold lead for Keen, and also now he's going for this Dusk and Dawn build. We're not seeing this really at all. Now we're seeing it every time for the Gwen. I think is very strong. I think people are starting to realize how powerful and how potent this item really is, but he is going to continue to, without any intervention, take the turrets off the map. He got 3 plates on the inner and the bottom lane, representing a lot of the gold. Really, the only gold, massive gold lead here for Gen.G is his. So he is the most important member. Try to use side lanes to get this Anivia to a safe and stable spot and get the Varus to be more relevant.
And Chovy actually finished his Rod of Ages first, so he's stacking that one up a little bit faster than Showmaker, but Showmaker does have now 1,000 gold lead, as Chovy, behind on levels just a little bit. Lucid is making his way forward, seeing whether they can actually put some pressure onto this turret. Some Crystalline Overgrowth has started to build.
Showmaker does have his Seraphs completed and transformed, so gonna feel good about this as we're bringing everyone.
It's just gonna get flashed on. There's the ulti to try and keep them at bay. Is Duro tanking up the turret nicely, and that should mean that the Ambessa does go down. Duro able to move out of the way of the angry turret and keeps himself alive. And so now another one going to fall down in exchange for an outer on the bottom side. But Chovy is going to survive as Realm Warp is just gonna get rid of the Rift Herald, who just crashes into a wall on the other side of the map.
Nice try, get him out of there.
Yeah, that was, I like the theory.
The Rift Herald he's made up his mind.
Or her mind.
Or her mind, yes, excuse me.
Yes, Shelly does just end up dying to the turret on the bottom side of the map, or dying to Chovy or someone. So it was a cute little theory, and then didn't quite work out in practice.
So the trades here, pretty good macro-wise for Gen.G. You know, we keep trading on opposite sides of the map, but Gen.G are getting the better end of this over and over again, and this Gwen is such a threat so early that it's really hard to imagine that Dplus will be able to continue to keep pace with her later on. And this Ambessa, which is a big threat, is a whole level down. So, I mean, in terms of what this composition is trying to do, so the threat maybe a little bit less big is what I'm getting at here. And this win for Showmaker in terms of the mid-race might not necessarily matter all too much when we get later on into the game, as they'll pretty much have parity.
I'm interested in how this fight's going to go. The first Ocean Drake of the game, as it is another Ocean Soul. We've had a fair few this week. But Gen.G in position, they will start this one up, and it's going down pretty quickly, as Duro possibly stunned up here, and in fact he is, or at least snared by, okay, flash forward from Lucid. It is Canyon that locks down the Dragon, as now Lucid is in the back of the pit, having to deal with Chovy, and Canyon wants to be able to flag drag his way out, but it's not quite going to work. Yeah, just taken out by the Xin Zhao, as now Xiu finds himself alone in the backline, and it's just Lucid that goes down after attempting a steal and not quite making it work.
Yeah, this time it's not worth, you know, last time was able to walk out, get the TP, get the steal for his life, loses his flash, which Jarvan doesn't necessarily need his flash because he already has so much mobility, but the extra flash button can sometimes make that engage range so insane that the Varus, who thinks he's safe from a million miles away, can actually be killed. This fight is really awkward because they clearly want to make something with Xiu here, and then the Crescent Guard comes out and Xiu's like, what's my target? I don't really have one. The rest of my team can't get into the pit if we went on to Chovy, who has Egg anyways. And so Xiu just kind of stands on the other side of the fight and doesn't press his buttons until he presses them to run away.
Wasn't actually able to do too much of anything at all, as it was kind of Lucid going in a little bit prematurely. And what that results in is a 2,000 gold advantage for Keen alone. And that's almost the whole gold lead that's on the map right now. So this Gwen, a big problem.
Quite large. We keep mentioning it because it is the thing.
It is pretty, it's an important part of the game to keep our minds on. And so we will continue to remind everyone that that's what they need to focus on.
So the Rod of Age is going to complete here for Chovy. Showmaker's ahead in experience right now, and will eventually get a ton of value out of his late Rod. But the moment in time where Gen.G have this lead feels really good for Chovy. He's going to get the transform to 15.
Yeah, he's actually, I think it's going to tick over. Yeah, there it is right now.
Yep.
Got a full level from that one. Feeling, as that's kind of how it works anyway, but it feels good when you just fill up the entire bar.
It takes longer, obviously, the deeper levels you get into, so Showmaker will technically get more value, but he doesn't have it right now. And so Chovy feels really good about this moment. And I think with the lead Gen.G have, you're very happy to take any fight now for the rest of the game, or at least until you lose control, but that's the expectation, is they will maintain it. As we get to the slow part of the game here, right, with Baron's up, but it's not really a viable objective to take at this stage for either team. 2-item spike for Corki's hit. Boris has Edge of Night, so Ruler very safe inherently. The AD carries have been not a big part of this game, just it's been a lot of scrapping around the side lanes.
Yeah, it's actually kind of surprising that Smash, even though he has made it to 2 items, hasn't really been much of a part of this game. As Tempered Fate is going to connect here, that the Flash does get Korea far enough away that Duro and Keen are unable to engage with Smash and Lucid coming down.
And with no objective to fight over, I think using your Tempered Fate like that in a Vision fight makes a lot of sense. Not really a big trade-off in this scenario. Getting the Flash out of career is a big win.
Yep.
That will not be available for the next fight, so...
Smash only a few more stacks before he does make that Muramana. And as Ruler's back is going to be denied.
I think part of the reason why neither of these AD carries have gotten a massive lead, which is how most of our games go, is because the junglers babysat well. Like, these Damwon junglers, Canyon,
just
former Dplus and his successor, just were like, no, not going to have any disasters down here.
Definitely got jobs as babysitters after this, if they would like them. Really looking good. Strovie going to catch its wave towards the top side. Showmaker shocked that wave towards him. We'll be able to pick that one up. As Duro going to once again just get his way out of here. 0-0-5 on the Bard and has been very slippery this game.
CVMax is calling.
Okay.
That's what it says on Showmaker's phone right now. I don't know what it means.
Oh, I wonder whether it means that Keen is going to be okay or not. As Flash out of the way of Canyon, and Shiu, unfortunately, is going to be the one that dies. Get off the phone. My goodness. His career moving down towards this bottom side. And that should just be this inner turret going down. And it is. Gen.G secure that one, and it's... Everything seems to come back to this Gwen being a massive problem. And Keen somehow is a top laner with 100% kill participation.
I mean, they played only through top lane. Besides when they stopped Lucid from playing through bottom lane. Otherwise, Canyon is like, I'm going to get Keen ahead. He got the counter pick Gwen that he always picks into Ambessa. We're going to take that lead. We're going to kill the structures.
Yeah.
That is the game plan. Our Anivia is also scaling. And now they're poised to set up for Soul Point here. Lucid has his flashback. Maybe another steal on the cards, potentially. But Showmaker's Rod completed. He hits level 16, even with Chovy now.
Actually, a huge deal that Cloud Drake was stolen away, because this could have been a soul that they would be fighting for. It's okay, there's a public execution right on top of Ruler as Shiu, still pretty healthy, is now Keen. Diving on forward, they get rid of Shiu though, and Ruler is going to survive. So it's not exactly working out here for Dplus, as now Showmaker running around trying to avoid the skill shots, but he can't do any damage. The Gwen will finally go down. Showmaker lasts a lot longer than I think a lot of people expected, but that's 3 dead for 1.
That's Baron. They're just going to take the magical journey straight to it. They had control vision in the Baron. They'll remove it and put it here in this banana brush. And Gen.G, in one swift swoop, I think have pretty much put the final bookend on this game, as it's not unplayable for Dplus, but it just gets so hard from here with the wave clear they have.
Yeah, the playability is low. And like that's absolutely true.
The follow-up for Shiu's engage just was not there at all, and he went so deep. And basically maximum range on his ultimate that if you try to chase Ruler there, it's not going to work out, as they will eventually take this dragon down. A little bit tankier on this patch, but it will get taken out nonetheless, as we'll see what CVMax had to say.
Yeah.
So they're basically like, this is post the scenario that happened moments before. Talking about the dragon.
Yeah, trying to see what the setup is going to be. As we'll check out the replay here. This was like a decent attempt from Shiu to get on top of Ruler.
There's just shields go up. Ruler has so much damage. The rest of the team peels for him. And then for here, like, Keen is kind of difficult to take out, right? Like, nigh unkillable, and Showmaker's on the wrong side of the fight. The fight is just so split up. Yeah. It's a good connection on the engage on the Varus, but maybe a bit optimistic otherwise.
And the crazy thing is that that was a big one from Smash, and if that hadn't have been available, Keen actually gets out, and then it's even worse for
Yeah,
Dplus.
no, 100%.
It could have been just, 3 for nothing. Showmaker does finally actualize. He's going to be able to find that item spike, but I just feel like it's too little and potentially too late for them to really get too much done as the Glacial Storm goes up.
I just don't think this is the kind of game you can win unless you win a huge team fight swimmingly to get enough map control back.
Yeah, well, public execution on top of Canyon here. Does have the Crescent Guard to keep himself alive. The Baron is going to help take down this inner turret, though. And in the meantime, you've got Keen running amok and taking down this inner in mid at the same time. So Gen.G just splitting the map, making things real awkward for DK.
The realm warp for Showmaker as well. Gen.G were like, oh, are they taking that? Please do. They like all turned around when they saw it. They were like, ooh.
Wow. That's a lot of damage that Toro take.
That was big damage, but I don't think they care.
Oh, another Flat Rush coming in there as the Tidal Wave knocks up Chovy, but they just cannot get close enough.
Shiu doesn't have ult, so they're like, yeah, okay, you're going to dash over to look at us?
And this is the problem with being a short-range composition into an Anivia. You just can't really do anything.
No, and Showmaker is just trying to clear the minions as fast as possible. I mean, there's only 30 seconds left of this Baron. They want to have a successful defense here of their inhibitors, but eventually something's got to give.
Yeah, Smash gets out of the way of the wall. And Valkyrie,
Keen is
useful here.
Is going to require more than one person to deal with, and this siege is real on the top side. The next wave is coming through, and once that turret's gone, Gen.G have really put the screws into these inhibitors.
And Ruler has been so frustrating. He's just always too far away for DK to do anything about. And every time they try and look in, it's a piercing arrow to the face. It's a hail of arrows over the top as now Canyon goes for the engage. Didn't really want to, I don't think, as he does have Crescent Guard available. Doesn't have to use it, although maybe could have to keep himself a little bit more healthy.
Shiu's getting closer to having his ultimate back, so they need to leave. 10 seconds on that one. Maybe this could be the first angle that Dplus have had in a while here to maybe get something done.
Good vision available here for Gen.G, though, to know exactly where they are. Cosmic Binding does go wide. DK still wanting to get something done here as there's the public execution on top of Canyon as Lucid dives forward as well. Great use of the Tidal Wave as the bubble is going to come through there. Chovy able to flash out of the way and Showmaker into the backline. Wants to try and kill Keen, but he's so incredibly fed on this Gwen. Chovy finishes him off in the end, and Gen.G, they're just like an impenetrable fortress.
They just played it so perfectly. They left no margin for error. Now Lucid,
I think he's going to be okay.
Yeah, it's going to take a little bit longer to go home than it would have liked. We'll be okay. When you look at the engage setup here, like the wall, look at this wall. It's like, I can't join. You know, Smash is like, I got to just try to do a little bit of damage to this tanky Xin Zhao. Okay, Bubble goes on to Chovy, who has Flash, and he has Egg. So even if he did end up going down to Egg there, they just don't really care. They just left no opportunity to Dplus, no angle, and then the vision you mentioned made it super easy to predict how that was going to go, and it was Canyon who started it all off. He has a GA now.
Oh my god. 4.2 thousand gold is a large amount of gold to be in the lead of your opponent with.
I don't think it's fair to say that Shiu did not pass the Keen test. I think it's fair to say that Dplus Kia did not pass the Keen test.
They did not.
All five.
I would say that, I mean, they passed it at the very beginning, but unfortunately they then forgot it. You know how like you do like a first aid course, that is so that you then know first aid. If then someone, you know, has like trouble in front of you and you can't do it, then that's called failing, even though you have passed first aid.
Yeah, you have certification.
Yeah, yeah, it's like you're certified, but then you forget how to do CPR. It's, you know, it's still a fail.
Kind of feels like they read half the book, and the questions they knew all those.
That's why you don't cheat on the test. Don't cheat on the test. That's all right. DK back out onto the map now, as teleport is very short here for the Gwen. As Shiu goes in, so does Lucid though. Great Cataclysm as Tempered Fate to hold Gen.G in position, buying time for Keen as best they can. But Chovy going to go down as the Ambassador dancing around the fight. Canyon so close to dead, but Korea can't do anything about it. And he's going to get taken out. Into the backline goes the Jarvan. But why is Canyon still alive?
He's super, super low, but does survive there. And they end up getting the Dragon here. It's going to be Soul Point. Showmaker did a ton of damage. He and Smash were trying their best. Chovy was blown up early. Anivia needs a little bit of time to actually maximize her damage, obviously. So that was the best, most favorable condition for a fight I think that Dplus were ever going to get for the rest of this game. But it's still, unfortunately, just not enough. The wallets are quite heavy, as you have often said. As Shiu ends up getting the lifeline here as he goes in. This Tempered Fate buys a little bit of space, but then watch Chovy just instantly blow up, and Showmaker does massive amounts of damage. Baron being taken by Gen.G alive.
Look at Canyon's health bar!
Yeah, and he may be sundering the sky a little bit on those final hits.
And Gen.G are just going to take Baron by themselves. A couple of members there as, Canyon and Keen, pretty good at doing that one.
When they end up living with Canyon, or Canyon ends up living there, with his GA, by the way, it's like, well,
he had a GA anyway. Okay,
I guess that's it. So I guess we just leave.
Well, Showmaker, speaking of leaving, does get out of the way of the Tempered Fate. Cosmic Binding going to connect there. Nice work from Duro, but there's no one else here. So Duro is just being annoying. Succeeding. Absolutely.
Yeah.
This is looking like it may have gotten away from DK. Just
well, I mean, we knew the curse was going to just be 2-0 Gen.G. It was kind of interesting at the very beginning, though. You know?
Yeah. And I mean, it's not over until it's over, but it's pretty close to being over.
Yeah, I mean, the Nexus and all inhibitors are still alive.
There you go.
Maybe nothing else, really. The turrets, the mid-turret, argue is alive.
You could say that it's a matter of time, but also maybe it's not. Smash hasn't died this game.
You think it would take 2 or 3 autos from Keen to kill that turret with Crystalina for
Yeah. Well, there's a public execution as Shiu dives in. They're looking to time it here as Canyon in a good spot right now.
Showmaker.
Chovy trying to dance his way out of there, but Showmaker gets a big old shield and it's just not enough. Both of them lying on the floor as now Keen taking matters into his own hands. Smash still trying to do the damage back as Keen will look a little bit low. But in trade for Lucid and Showmaker's lives, I don't think this is going to work because the teleport back in from Chovy is just going to net the end of the inhibitor turret in mid lane. And in very quick succession, most of these structures are going to be disintegrating right before your eyes. And Gen.G, I feel like this entire game was just about preventing DK from being able to play. As Smash will finally die for the very first time this game, right before his Nexus follows suit. That is going to be the delayed ace, and it will be completed. Nexus dies as well, and Gen.G, man, what a frustrating comp to play into, but beautifully, beautifully navigated by them.
They had a plan.